What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about honestly, I'm gonna talk about whatever's on my mind. This might be a very long video. I just gotta release some thoughts, just release some energies and stuff. I think we have a full moon, or we have an eclipse right now, so like I might as well release my thoughts. And supposedly, like, these spiritual advisors, like these spiritual people, it's all over Twitter. They're saying it's our best interest to kind of stay inside, not to go out as much, because people are gonna act up, or like people are just gonna go insane because of the energies. I don't know too much about it, but people are saying this shit all over Twitter, especially if they have like Virgo or Scorpio placements and Taurus and some other place. It's for everyone, but it keeps saying like certain placements and shit. So me, I have a Scorpio moon, Scorpio Mars, Virgo, all that shit. So might as well. But I don't know. Anyways, so that's probably why like I just feel like I gotta release a lot of my thoughts and shit like that. And not only that, but it's past memories of like people just doing me wrong, like extremely wrong. That shit's been popping up my mind lately, and I'm still pissed about that. But with this full moon, it's kind of amplifying it. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but so I'm feeling kind of angry, but more so I'm just confused and shocked. Like, damn, these people will really do some shit like that, or like, how low do you have to be as a person to do me wrong? Like, I got people stealing money from me. People lie to me. It's what people, the type of shit they'll do. And these people were close to me too. Like, they're close friends. And I'd cut them off, cuss them out, and burn bridges with them because of the shit they've done. And that's kind of a story of my life where like, I'll meet people who are like close to me or cool with me, and then they'll do some bullshit because they think like it's because I'm too nice, or like I'm very cool and giving and chill. People, for some reason, they like to take advantage of that, which is fucked up. I understand why, but whenever I meet someone that's very giving, cool, and chill, I don't try to fucking take advantage of that person, especially when it comes to money. Because these people, like, they'll tell me they'll borrow money from me and they'll pay me back instantly. These people never pay me back. They fucking lie to me, and they'll keep taking, asking. And once I caught on to their bullshit and lies, and I'll go along with it so I could catch them in their lies, and they would. So these people, they're fucking sick. And you have a lot of people like that. A lot of people are sheeps in wolves' clothing. So like, you gotta be fucking careful. There is one video I recommend subscribing, watching this channel called Tyler JTI. I think that's his channel name. I'll send the link, but he talked about on his latest upload video, he talked about how like, watch out for spiders. And he's not talking about the insect spiders. He's talking about like spiders who are like people, meaning, and he made a good point. I don't remember too much, but he mentioned that like, he's talking about people being spiders metaphorically. You gotta watch out for spiders. And these people are pretty much covert narcissists. They're known as spiders. So what spiders will do, they'll watch you, right? They'll draw you in as prey. You're their prey, right? But they won't attack you like on the spot. They'll hide in the darkness, and they'll fucking make a fucking web, and they won't even attack you. That spider wants its prey to go into that web, right? So once that prey go into that web, it gets stuck and it can't get out. Then that spider attacks that prey and eats that prey. He's talking about that, how people are like that metaphorically, because people, they'll act like they're your close friend, or like they have your best interests at heart. Then out of nowhere, they'll do something very covert, or something very shady, or something very underhanded, whether it'll be like stealing money from you, taking things from you, or like gossiping about you, talking bad behind your back, or spreading rumors about you, or putting your personal business into other people without your consent. And this happens a lot in the workplace as well. I've noticed this shit. I try to stay away from this shit, where like in every workplace I've been to, there's always gossip, drama, and people like to talk about other people's behind their back without them even knowing. It's a huge problem within the workplace that I'm starting to realize. And I'm not saying I'm an angel. I've done some things I regret, and there are times where I need to check myself from doing that shit. But for the most part, this shit happens a lot in the workplace, where like people will like just have no problem talking about other people and shit. I get it, like it's jokingly, like it depends where you work at, but some people are very close to each other. But at times you gotta be very mindful, because not only I believe in karma, so what goes around comes around. So be careful, because like there are times where like, if I've seen people they'll do some shit and then they'll get their karma back, or I've heard of it, and I just recommend not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta watch out for your karma. When it comes to karma, I believe in karma. I've booked personal readings about karma. These same people do me wrong, ask if they ever get their karma, and my tarot reader will clarify that yes, these people would get their karma. But what I've learned is that like just the fact that people do the things they do, just the fact they'll do shit like that, that's their fucking hell. They're living their hell for them to do you wrong, to hurt you. That's their fucking hell. It's not natural to harm another human being. Shout out to New Mind Frame. She mentioned that like as human beings, we're all connected. So if you hurt someone else, you're hurting yourself. And that's where karma comes in, because like since we're all connected, she mentioned that like because we're all connected, if you're gonna harm someone, that's imbalance, and the karma is gonna balance, and the universe is gonna balance that shit out, you know. And she made a good point. That's the spiritual reason behind it, you know. So there's why like I'm in a stage of my life where like when people do me wrong, honestly, it still affects me, but like I try to pay no too much attention to it because that's their problem, or I'll just laugh it off, or like I'll be non-reactive. And how I look at it is like, okay, they're gonna do some shit, like if they're gonna verbally harm me or like say some slick shit, then that's their fucking problem. That means they're living their own hell. And how people feel about themselves, that's how they're gonna act towards you and shit, you know. People like to project, you know. Even recently, like I ordered some food from Burger King, and this one guy was giving me kind of an attitude problem, and to be honest, I paid no mind to it. I was laughing it off. I was trying to be nice to him. And what I realized is that like since we have a full moon and we have all these eclipses going on, that's probably why he's angry. But he's just projecting that shit towards me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't take that shit personal. If people gives you like an attitude, people are being bitchy towards you, don't fight back. It depends on the situation. If they're physically harming you, then defend yourself. But if they're not doing that, just let it go. You know, I mean, it depends on the situation. If you really need to defend yourself, do it. But if it's like petty stuff, or people just their tone of voice or anything, let it go, man. Trust me. I watched a lot of self-help videos. I watched, especially on like these I don't want to sound corny, but these alpha male videos and shit like that. And what makes a true alpha male, in my opinion, is being non-reactive, you know. And they talked about how like the more reactive a fucking guy is, then that means more in his feminine energy. If you're in your masculine energy, you're supposed to be calm. You're supposed to be cool, calm, and collected. And it makes sense. And that helped me out a lot, because before I used to watch these videos, I used to be so reactive towards people. I feel like if they're doing me wrong, especially family members, like, oh, I'm supposed to fight back or defend myself. But when they do shit like that, they're either jealous, envious, insecure, or they're in pain, or they're just so like bitchy and shit like that. Or what's the word? They're so like yeah, they're just jealous, insecure, and they like to project that shit. And I'm trying to like, okay, you know, and if that's the case, just ignore it. Laugh it off. Have a lot of love in your heart. You know, there's this guy named Matt Cross. You can check out his channel. He talks about dating, and he also talks about self-help. For me, I personally love subscribing to him. He has a program that I'm subscribed to. And it's always good to have a mentor. Well, at least for me, like I love having mentors. So I take my mentors seriously. It's good to have a mentor, that's someone you look up to. So you could it's hard to explain. Not be like that person, but like just follow their advice if you feel drawn to them, in my opinion. You know, if you feel drawn to certain people, then that means they have your traits. You just gotta follow that traits. I don't know. But yeah, but it's always good to have mentors and shit. But he always talks about how like if you're a guy in your masculine energy, they have a lot of love in their heart. So it's not natural for a guy to spread hate, anger, and project all this negative shit towards other people. It's not natural. I understand we're all human. Things happen, you know, shit happens, you know, because this is life, you know. It's just life, you know. But it's not natural to constantly do it every single day. We're constantly lashing out, projecting, and like just giving people a hard time. And a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are like that in this world. I've dealt with a lot of people like that, you know. It caused me to lose my job. It caused me to like get kicked out of the house. Like I've dealt with that through family members, through people at the workplace and stuff like that. So a lot of people are like that. And these people were a lot older than me as well. Like they're like a lot, twice my age and twice my height, you know. So like it's just crazy. So it doesn't matter what age or adults will be doing that shit. It's lack of spiritual information. It's lack of healing, and it's lack of knowledge and shit like that. Why they do things they do, or even they do know what to do. It's just harder to do it. It's hard to release trauma. It's so easy to project pain and anger. It's so easy, but it's so hard to do the healing work and to like, you know what I'm saying. But it's not only that, but I believe it requires spiritual information and spiritual knowledge, and you know, I don't know. This is why you gotta follow your intuition, so your intuition will lead you to the right path, you know? People like to call it your higher self, God, the universe, spirit guides, your higher self. Who knows? It could be all that, you know? But he talked about Matt Cross. Shout out to him. His channel's named 33 Alpha Male Secrets, and yeah, and he has a second dating channel. I forgot what it's called, but he talked about being in masculine energy, you need to have a lot of love in your heart. So when you have a lot of love in your heart, you're naturally calm, naturally chill, cool, calm, and collected. So when conflict happens, confrontation, or like just people try to project their shit onto you, or just life in general, you're still gonna remain calm, cool, calm, and collected and calculated, and be able to make a logical decision in any situation you are in your life. That's gonna be the best one because you're thinking from a very logical standpoint instead of your emotions. If you're acting from your emotions, you're gonna make a bad decision, you know? And in order for you to do that, you need to do a lot of healing work. You need to check yourself. You need to know more about yourself, and you need to have a lot of love in your heart, you know? And it's not necessarily easy, but it's doable. And it makes sense because, you know, it takes so much energy and all this just to defend yourself, just to fight back, retaliate back. You don't need to do all that. You know, if someone gives you a hard time, just walk away. Just don't give them the time of day. And just stick it to yourself, you know? Not saying it's going to affect you. It's still going to hurt you. I mean, people give me an attitude. I still get hurt about it. I still, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about situations where, like, I'm minding my own business. People are doing that shit. But it's one thing where, like, you make a mistake or, like, you done something dumb. Yeah, pay attention. Do what you got to do to do a better job or to prevent that mistake again. Self-reflect. Learn about that situation. Look at it from a spiritual perspective and from a worldly human perspective so you can learn lessons. But I'm more so when you mind your own business, people give you a hard time. And yeah, you know, if people want to give you shit, you know, and just ignore that person. Even if you're a male or female watching this, just take it how it resonates, you know, just ignore it. And it makes sense, you know. And then once you do defend yourself or once you do say something, since you're already relaxed and chilling, have all that love in your heart, not only you're unbothered, but when you say something, that's going to affect that person that's attacking you the most, you know. It's a lot to explain. You can check out his channel. He talks about it. He goes more into detail, but I'm just ranting. This video is going to be very random. I'm just speaking my mind. Yeah, I'm going to talk about fasting, man. Fasting is extremely hard. It's not hard. It's just doable. But I feel like it's just this society and how we were raised, because as we were raised growing up, we were taught to eat 3 times a day. We were taught to eat all these bad foods, toxic foods. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of spiritual information. Shout out to Chauncey One and Mooney Mercury, baby, and other channels like Sacred Serpent. They talk about the importance of fasting, how fasting can actually heal the body, eating less and eating more fruits and vegetables, taking herbs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That can really heal the body. But more so, they're talking about the importance of fasting. I feel like fasting is extremely important. But I feel like what makes it so hard, at least for me, I know other people can relate to as well. For me, what makes fasting hard is that, like, I'm so used to eating so much food. And not only that, but I use food as an escape. So whenever I feel some type of pain, or I feel some type of, like, just stressed or overwhelmed within life, then, like, I tend to eat. Some people would, like, smoke, or, like, some people would drink, or some people will go into sex and just stuff like that. With me, it's food, you know? And not only that, with other addictions as well. That's minor, but, like, it's still a problem, you know? But yeah, but for me, it's food, you know? I use food as a comfort. And it feels good in the moment, just like using a drug or smoking or drinking. But I see a couple animals walking across the street. Hang on, I don't know if you see them. It's kind of cute. I don't know if you guys saw that. And I saw, like, I think they're coyotes or foxes or dogs. They're walking across the streets, 2 of them. I fucking love animals. Honestly, if I'm financially stable, I'm probably gonna have a dog one day. I really want pets. It's just a burden to take care of them, because it's a burden to take care of myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my shit straight, you know? Imagine having a fucking 2 pets and shit. At least for me, that should be hard. I better be making stable income and know what I'm doing, have my own place and shit, you know? But it'll be nice, though, you know? To have your own pet. Especially to have your own dog, you know? It'll be nice. And then you have, like, your own partner with you, you know? That'd be awesome, you know? Yeah, but where was I talking about? What was it? Oh yeah, but fasting is hard because, like, it takes a lot of discipline. The reason why it's actually easy, it's doable. Just don't eat And shout out to Chauncey one. I like how he says it. Just put the fork away, you know, like don't use a fucking fork. It's that simple, you know. It's true though, but like what makes it hard for other people, and not other people, but at least for me, is that like I'm so used to eating my whole life and I use it as an escape. You know what I'm saying? But this is where the healing work comes in. This is where like spirituality comes in, because on your spiritual path, on your spiritual journey, it requires a lot of healing work. And it's not easy, it's tough, it's hard as fuck. This is why a lot of people are like, this is why a lot of people aren't healed. And I'm not talking about you have to be fully healed to live life, but like a lot of people have trauma and pain. That's hard for them to release that shit. It's so hard for them. It's so hard for me too, because like it's not easy purging. Not only that, but it takes a long time for the human body to heal its emotional pain, you know, and trauma. Because my theory is that like you're probably dealing with shit from past lives and from other people's trauma. You gotta deal with like generational curses and just your nervous system's acting up. But yeah, more so it's generational curses from other people and past life trauma from your past lives and shit like that. I think that what makes it so hard for people. It takes so long for you to heal. But it's naturally the human body as well, because it's scientifically like the human trauma, it takes so long for it to heal and shit. And the society we're living in, we live in such a dog world where like everything's competitive, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like we have a lot of money control and money restrictions. So like if you want to talk to a psychologist, if you want to talk to like a psychologist or a fucking a social worker or like anyone, it requires money. It requires a lot of money to book sessions and stuff like that. But not only with that, but like there's different types of therapies that actually could benefit you. I forgot what they're called, but there's like therapy for your nervous system. There's like mental therapy, there's talk therapy, and there's so much different kinds of therapy work. There's hypnosis, and there's a lot of other shit, but they cost so much money. You know what I'm saying? It costs a lot of money, and a lot of people don't have the luxury of making a lot of money, or like they're trying to make ends meet. And it makes sense, because in this world, most of these jobs don't pay the average person enough money to get by. You know, we're all making like this. That's how the system is set up. This is why this whole world is corrupt. You know, and that deals with your elites, your Illuminati, and other words I don't want to mention, and just stuff like that. I don't go into detail, but you can watch other channels that talk about stuff like that. If you're watching my channel, I'm assuming, and you should already know about spirituality. You should already know about like real corruption, and you know what I'm saying. Basically, if you watch my channel, you should also be subscribed to Chauncey One, Mooney Mercury Baby, New Mind Frame, and all these other spiritual channels. If you're watching my channel, that's at least what I'm assuming. That who's ever watching my channel already have all that information, because with my channel, like I like to talk about things from my perspective. So I'm assuming people who watch my channel already know about spirituality, real corruption, and time speeding up and stuff like that. You know, versus if you have like a random person who comes across my channel, they're either gonna think I'm crazy, or like I'm psycho, or like I'm just talking about some crazy shit, you know. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, but this world, it restricts us so much. It keeps us locked in, and like there's a lot of money restrictions, so it drives people crazy. Like people, like they're forced to do things they don't want to do because of money and stuff like that, and that affects the human mind, the human body. This is why it's so easy for people to fall into addictions and bad habits, and especially when it comes to food, because especially when it comes to addictions, but more so food, because like food is it's no different than a drug with all these chemicals and stuff like that. I think what's it called? It has a lot of things that make you feel good in the moment. Like it boosts your endorphins, or like there's other word for it. It's like what you experience when you have a drug, or when you experience some type of high. Food is no different. Like me, I'm eating food right now, and that's just, it's like a drug pretty much. But yeah. Where's I gonna talk about? But yeah, but food, it has a lot of like chemicals and a lot of stuff that really cause a person to be addicted to it. It will cause a person to just kind of indulge, or like overeat, or to like gluttony and shit like that, you know, because food has all these chemicals. So once you start fasting, or at least with me, so whenever I start fasting, whenever I'm trying to eat healthy, it's so hard for me because I'm so used to eating so much chemicals, all these junk foods, you know what I'm saying? My diet is very it's very weird. So me, I used to eat a lot of meat. Now I'm vegan and vegetarian, but now I'm starting to eat meats. Like I'm starting to eat a lot of chicken now. I eat a lot of eggs now. I used to be vegan and vegetarian for like a good 3 to 4 years. No, probably 4 or 5 years. But then in the past year, I've been eating a lot of chicken. I've been eating a lot of junk food, especially. And I don't usually eat junk food like that. But I'm starting to eat a lot of junk food and stuff like that. It's not because like I'm going through. Yeah, it is because I'm going through things. Because I mean, every human being goes through things. But even when I was vegan and vegetarian, I was still going through things. But I was still able to eat healthy. But I don't know. It's more so like it's like I'm in a year where like I have a better job compared to back then. So once I have more income, it's like I tend to spend that shit on things I don't really need to spend on. And a lot of people experience that. So when people experience making a lot of money and stuff like that, they tend to spend on things they really shouldn't be buying on, And this is why like I feel like not too many people are like rich or they make a lot of money, because once spirit or the universe will actually give these people the opportunity to make a lot of money, they're either gonna lose it or they're gonna self-sabotage it. And shout out to Chauncey One, because he made a good point where like if spirit were to grant you with a lot of money right now, a lot of people probably like self-sabotage it, or like they'll lose it or they get robbed because they don't have the information or wisdom to use it in the right way. Shout out to Chauncey One, because he did mention that and he's right. And I've noticed this within myself too. Whenever I'm in a situation where like I make a lot of money, I end up getting robbed. No, not robbed, but I end up being around the wrong kinds of people, or like I'll be too given, too nice, and then people will take advantage of me, and then they'll take all my money, or like I'll spend it on junk food I don't really need. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the main factor, But yeah, when you have your money, make sure you have multiple credit cards. In my opinion, you should have a lot of credit cards. Just make sure you know how to manage them. Make sure you know how to pay them on time. Because when you have a credit card and if you're gonna use it, you have to pay back that money at a certain date. So like you gotta pay monthly for that, depending how much you pay. So for example, you have a credit card, right? If you spend $1,000 on it, that means you're going to get charged like $30 every month. So make sure you make those payments. But if you miss that one payment, then the monthly charge is going to increase. So having a credit card is such a great thing to have. I didn't know too much about credit cards until I joined the military, and I had a lot of guidances, and people told me about like how to like be financially stable. Like people helped me out a lot in the military. Like the military has helped me out a lot within my life. I'm very grateful to be in the military. Like I'm probably gonna do it for a while because it really does improve your life. But before I enlisted, I didn't know anything about credit or stuff like that or finances. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what credit card was. I don't know how to use it. So now that I know about credit, like honestly, you can have 4 to 6 credit cards. If you know how to manage it, you'll be straight. And that's what I'm trying to do. But you don't overspend all these credit cards, Find a limit, like if it's a limit like 2,000, then try to spend it like around under 15 or 10%. And do that shit for each credit card, you know what I'm saying? And make those payments on time. And bam, you'll be financially good. But then there's also things where you can invest in like stocks, cryptocurrency. I don't know too much about those, but I'm gonna start looking more into it. You know what I'm saying? So, because basically it's like a thing where like you invest money or like you take risks with the money, and depending if you make the right choice or if you do things on the right time, then you get double the money in return. And you can increase how much money you want to make. But you can also lose money. So it's all about timing. And you just got to know what you're doing and stuff like that. So I recommend if you're going to get to like into cryptocurrency or like just cryptocurrency or what's it called? Stocks and stuff like that. Make sure you do your research so you know what you're doing. It is useful. It is legit. You just got to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose a lot of money. But if you do know what you're doing, it is possible you could gain a lot of money. A lot of people get successful off of that, But yeah, I'm gonna talk about motivation and how to use your pain and your restrictions as motivation. Now, I'm gonna talk about my situation. So like with me, I'm the type of person where like I love driving so much. I love traveling. I love going from point A to point B. I just love putting myself out there with the vehicle, and I love it so much. It's just awesome knowing that like I have a vehicle, I could go anywhere where I want because I'm 26. I didn't have a vehicle 26, my first year I'm having it. It's the first time I have my license. First time I have my vehicle. So I love it so much because I know what it's like to not have a vehicle, to constantly walk, take the bus, ask for rides, taking Uber. I hate asking for rides, so I'd rather take Uber, you know, taking a public bus and stuff like that. And I hated it so much, but I had to do what I had to do. And I had to walk when it's snowing, raining, whatever, when it's hot. And then people will look at me crazy. They always offer me rides, and I feel embarrassed for that, you know. But like, so this is why like I love having a vehicle, you know. I think it's because based on the things I've been through, but more so, it just feels good knowing that like I could go anywhere with a vehicle. Even if I were to meet like a romantic partner or like my dating interest, you know, I could just take that beautiful lady out on dates. I could take her out so we can hang out. It just feels good as a guy to have a vehicle to take that date anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Not only that, but there's a lot of independence within having a vehicle, you know? So like it's so easy for me to go to appointments, to schedule appointments, to go to different stores, to buy the things I want to buy, you know, just a lot of benefits to it, a lot of opportunities within job situations, work situations, you know? And me, I'm the type of person where like I love traveling, I love being on the go, I love being busy, I love like, I don't like staying in one spot. I constantly want to like explore, meet new people, go to different places and stuff like that. The only problem is that like with that, I realized that like having a vehicle, it's so easy, the fuel and gas, like if it's so easy to go low, it's so easy to waste gas, or like it's so easy to run out of gas and fuel. Like there are times where like, and not only that, but like then it's so easy for the mileage in a vehicle to increase so fucking fast, and then you always gotta, you know, put oil in your car. I mean, put gas in your car. You gotta check on how much mileage your car has. You always gotta do maintenance on it. You always gotta make an oil change. You gotta watch out if the engine's okay and stuff like that. You gotta watch out for fat tires. So it takes a lot of money just to take care of your car and to keep it running, especially for long periods of time. And for gas money, it runs out of gas so quick. And I hate that shit. And on that, but I hate like being restricted because I'm lacking in finances. Where like I can't use my vehicle as much, I can't travel as much, or like I can't buy the things I want to buy as much because of finances, right? So, and I was thinking about that earlier, and I kind of want to use that as my motivation. It's not one of them. It is one of my motivations, but it's not my only motivation. I have other motivations as well, just like everyone. We're like we want to follow our passions, we want to follow our heart, we want to express ourselves, we want to be ourselves, we want to showcase our talents and our God-given gifts, right? But also like at 10 people's motivations also deals with money restrictions. We all hate being restricted, or we all hate the feeling we can't do certain things because of money, or to even have certain opportunities because of finances, right? We all experience that. So it's important to use that as motivation to go far in life, to increase your work ethic. And people may say that could be wrong. It just depends how your mindset is. I'm not saying using money as a main motivation, so when you do get money, you be corrupt. It's not like that. I'm talking about more so like, obviously there's more factors that play into your motivation and drive to be successful, like following your passion, like I said before, following your heart, utilizing your God-given gifts, but also like using what it's like to be broke, or like feeling restricted when it comes to money as your other motivation. Use that anger as extra motivation. That's what I'm trying to get at, you know? So I'm trying to use that as extra motivation to, you know? So yeah, it's such a blessing to have a car, man. It sucks, man. It just sucks how expensive vehicles are, you know? I feel like it shouldn't be a privilege. It should be a right for everyone to own a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? First, like they should have these high schools and even middle schools and colleges, they should give them free classes on how to drive a vehicle so you can get your license. Instead of going to the DMV, paying for it, having to buy your own car just to take a test on it. Instead, they should give students, government vehicles, and have all of them have like fucking over like 148 hours of behind the wheel driving testing and shit like that. And then they get their license. And these vehicles that they want to buy, it should be extremely cheap. It should be like, I don't know, like instead of $3,000, it should be like $500-$600. This is something where like it's affordable for everyone, and not just a beat up used car, high mileage and a fucked up engine, but like a new vehicle with a good engine that's very fresh and durable, and it could last long, you know. And these were those DMVs. All the DMVs, all the car companies should invest into these schools, so these companies can make a lot more money and they can profit more, and they can become even more big, because a lot of people are going to invest into these companies, especially if they mesh and work together. You know how much money these schools will be making, these DMVs and car companies and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how businesses work, but that's common sense though, right? So imagine that shit happens and things will pop off, and like, you know what I'm saying? Everyone will be happy. It's a win-win situation for both people, you know what I'm saying? But no, the world doesn't work like that. But it could be. Maybe someone found my information, or I just put it out there, and maybe they can make it happen, you know? Because there's no way these vehicles should be that expensive, especially for used ones. And people, as human beings, we need vehicles. If we live in a matrix, right, that requires a lot of work, that requires a lot of people to spend their whole lives pretty much working at these jobs so they can make money and survive. This whole society, at least in America, this whole world is run on that. So why not make vehicles extremely cheap so they can keep society, so they can keep this matrix, this world running? If you're the elites, if you're the government in power, if you're the evil people, wouldn't it make sense to make vehicles more cheaper so you can make your system running, so that way people don't have to complain as much? Because if there's a lot of financial restrictions, a lot of burdens when it comes to finances, you know, people are going to question the system. Versus what they should do, they should make things that people want the most, like cars, a lot more cheaper, so they'll be more engaged within the matrix, within the system, so they'll question it less. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna play your game and being corrupt and evil, at least do it the right way. Because if you're gonna make a lot of things more like hard to afford, people are gonna hate that shit, and it's gonna force them to go against the system, and it's gonna force them to question the system. And there's gonna be a huge domino effect where everyone's gonna do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So if the government and these elites want to prevent that shit from happening, make those vehicles very affordable and less expensive, so people will be more engaged within the matrix, so people will question this shit less. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you out, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help the people out. I'm trying to help myself out. I'm trying to help the evil ass Illuminati out. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm just joking around, but no, I'm for real. But you know, I'm just messing around. But yeah, I feel like if you're fasting, I feel like that if people could so easily fast, in my opinion, you have the most strongest discipline in the whole fucking world. You know, if you have the discipline to not eat food that's bad for you, and to not eat junk food that you've been programmed to eat your whole life growing up, and all of a sudden you're in a fasting breatharian or even vegan vegetarian journey, in my opinion, you are a very, very powerful, strong individual. You have a strong spirit, you know, because I feel like, because eating food, in my opinion, is the hardest part. I understand there's other addictions that people like to use, or like there's other counterfeits instead of eating, but for the most part, food plays a huge factor. Why I think there's so much overweight people die from cancer and all these diseases is because of food. You know what I'm saying? And food is the biggest drug, you know? Shit, you got Skittles and other candies that's legal in America, but that's illegal in that's banned from other countries. What does that say? You know what I'm saying? So these foods we're eating, it's literally crack and drugs. And it's scientifically proven that some of these sugars, some of these candies is more addicting than crack, cocaine, and shit like that. All these hormones, all these ingredients, it's just horrible. It fucks up the human body. And then you got chemtrails, you got fluoride in the water, you know, you got air pollution. So this world is a mess. And all that shit correlates to people falling into bad habits, into addictions. Especially if you live inside the house where there's no natural energy within nature or within the sun. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly inside. You have a computer, you have a TV, you have a laptop, all these 5G networks, all these electronics. Then you have the air conditioner that's not natural and shit like that. So all that shit being thrown at you. So it makes sense that when someone's stuck inside their house, naturally they're gonna feel lazy, they're gonna feel depressed, or they don't want to feel like going out. You know what I'm saying? It's because of all these electronics and lack of sunlight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think there's substitutes where like you could actually have sunlight, proper sunlight, and outdoor nature within these houses. I forgot what it's called though, but I think they do exist. It's just pricey and shit like that. But yeah, I think the government or like someone should invent something like that, where like they create houses that is not toxic, that has like natural from Earth's like is has natural healthy air conditioning from the Earth's resources, and these houses have like solar, what's it called? Um these solar panels where like it'll force the sun and Earth's nature to go inside the house and stuff like that. So you're actually getting fresh air, you're getting sunlight from the moon, from the sun, from the stars and shit like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? From the fucking trees, from nature and air and shit like that. So, and once they utilize that, then people will feel less depressed. They'll have less addictions and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But also there's other things as well, like chemtrails, electronics, and stuff like that. Foods they've been programmed from your whole life eating and shit like that. So this is what I'm getting at. So like this human experience, everyone has addictions. I don't care what it is. I think it's part of the human experience as well to have addictions, and there's healthy addictions as well. But I'm talking about addictions that are bad for you. But I guess it's natural as long as you know how to control it. Then there's nothing wrong with it. But I don't know. We all need some type of stimuli to help us not focus too much on reality, because reality could be too much, especially in this timeline where like we're not really living a life, we're kind of surviving. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't see anything wrong in the Matrix. The only thing I see wrong with the Matrix, me, I don't mind working. I don't mind working at a 9 to 5 and shit like that. The only problem I have with it is that like, because with me, I actually found something that I don't love, but I actually do like it. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, the military, it's a 9 to 5. It's the schedule is taxing, but I don't mind. I actually do like it. You know what I'm saying? So at least I'm occupied. What I'm talking about with the only problem I have with the system is that like if you're forced to do something you don't want to do out of survival, and then like there's a huge imbalance with the money system, or like people are forced to do things, they're forced to be around people, or they can't even have their basic needs met because of the system, because of money. That's a problem. That's where there's a huge fucking issue. If you love what you're doing within the system, then I feel like that's a blessing and that's a good thing. But everything is still corrupt because we're not getting paid as much. There's a lot of restrictions. There's a huge imbalance with the money system. That's why we still have homeless people, you know? So that's the problem I have with it, you know? And then you have third world countries and shit like that. So this is my opinion. I don't know. But yeah. What else I'm talking about? I'm gonna talk about my nervous system. I'm gonna talk about how much astrology it really be affecting my physical body, man. This shit crazy. So I'm at 37 minutes. I'm trying to make this shit to like an hour or two, you know, because I'm just talking about random shit, you know. And not like that, but whenever I make videos, like after I'm done uploading, I love seeing it being uploaded. I love seeing me talking shit, and then I see the views and the likes, like oh shit, you know. But it's cool, man. I love YouTube. But yeah, man. Like it'd be weird because I'm tired, but it'd be weird because like whenever there's like a full moon or like an eclipse season, or like there's something going on with the stars, like there's a Mercury retrograde and stuff like that, like that shit would be affecting my nervous system. Like that's when I'll have like rapid heartbeats. That's when like all the past wounds from what people done to me, from doing me wrong, from all the like abuse they put me through, or like all the hurts they put me through, and all that shit comes to the surface. Even my past breakups, you know what I'm saying, with exes I've dealt with, people I dated, past big breakups, how it ended, and just not feeling seen and misunderstood. Like pretty much all my insecurities and all my traumas and wounds come to the surface. And not only that, but then my nervous system overstimulates. Like I have rapid heartbeats, and then I can't get certain people out of my mind and shit that have done me wrong and shit like that, or exes and shit like that, like my twin flame and shit like that. And all that shit would happen all at once, and this shit would get overwhelming, and it'll force me to not focus on the things I need to get done, like some homework, focus on my job, and important studies I need to make, managing my money through online and shit like that, you know. So it's like cleaning my room, working out. It's so hard to do that when I'm having all these energies being thrown at me at once, you know what I'm saying? And people call that experiencing generational curses, where like you got to experience that shit and then you got to heal from that, or like all of your traumas coming to the surface so you could like process it and then release it. This is why it's so intense, because spirit is kind of giving you time to process it, which sucks. And then you got to release that shit through crying it out, through anger, through screaming and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? There are times where these, even though I know what's going on, it still doesn't mean I have proper control over it, because it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of healing to do that shit, you know? So there are times where like I'll lash out, or like I'll spaz out, or like I'll get angry, or like I'll cry, or I just yell and scream and shit like that, or like I'll make YouTube videos expressing my anger and shit like that, because all these energies, they're so intense, you know? And there are certain actions that I regret doing because of these eclipse and these full moon energies, where I confronted one of my family members that I thought didn't have my best interests at heart, and I cussed that family member out through the phone. Not in person, because we both live in different areas and states, but like I cussed that person out through the phone, and I send that person messages that I regret sending, and that was a result because of all the things I've been through. But that family member had my back though. But it's just, I just felt like that person, it was just a misunderstanding, and the only family member that had my back, I actually went off at that person. You know what I'm saying? Even though I feel like that family member is quote unquote like defends my abusive family members to a certain extent, but this person never attacked me. And whenever I have a hard time with my dysfunctional family, this person always allowed me to move in with that person's house and stuff like that. But with the full moon eclipse, all these energies that happened a month ago, it was so overwhelming that I used that anger and I projected that towards that family member, and I regret doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm getting at. So like, just because like it's me, like I know what's going on. I have a lot of knowledge on these energies from a spiritual perspective, but it still affects me and shit like that. So I still make bad actions and things that I regret doing because of these energies. You know what I'm saying? So this shit's intense. Not only that, but I've heard from like different spiritual videos from people, from my personal tarot reader, that they'll mention that like I'm experiencing shit from my past lives, if I'm experiencing generational curses, I'm trying to process my past pains in this lifetime. All that shit be thrown out once, and I'm trying to heal my family's generational curses and shit like that. So all that shit's been thrown at me. Shit sucks. This is why I even went out, you know what I'm saying? Like I went to Walmart to buy some stuff, and I actually went to Burger King and I ate some food just so I can kind of like comfort myself, because like within these energies, I've been having rapid heartbeats. It's not as intense compared to like these other past weeks and months, but I can still feel it. I can still feel it. It's about to get there. It's probably gonna get more intense as the weeks go by, which I'm scared of. But yeah, but I'm starting to feel like my heart rate kicking in, and like I keep thinking about my twin flame, and I'm thinking about other people who've done me wrong, with like friends and like coworkers and like other family members and shit like that. Like all that shit's popping up to my mind and shit. I'm like, fuck. So, and then I realized, okay, it's because we have an eclipse and a full moon cycle. So I'm like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? So this shit sucks. Yeah. So it gets overwhelming, man. It's just frustrating because I've been experiencing this shit since 2017, and these fucking energies, my nervous system overstimulating. I booked a lot of tarot readings on why this is happening, and like it's just hard, man. It's just like it's bullshit. I feel so mad knowing that like my nervous system overstimulates, and like I can't get over what people have done me wrong. And the reason my tarot reader, she mentioned that like the reason why this shit happens, because within each Mercury retrogrades and these eclipse and full moon cycles, it's like you're experiencing the same trauma, but the more you experience it, the more you're healing from it. But then when the next one comes in and you still feel the same pain, because there's layers and there's levels to this shit when it comes to your healing. So this is why every Mercury retrograde, if you think that you've gone over a certain situation, but yeah, when another one happens and you experience the same shit, you're like, damn, how come I didn't even, I thought I was over with that shit. I thought I'd done the healing work. No, because there's more layers, there's more deeper wounds that you need to heal from that you weren't aware of. You know what I'm saying? And this is where these constant cycles come in that are constantly the fucking same. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that makes this shit hard, man. And this correlates to fasting. My problem with fasting. So like me, I'm into fasting. I want to fast. I've actually fasted yesterday, but I kind of broke it, and then I started overeating because I feel overwhelmed from these energies, and it's a huge burden knowing that like the things you're going through, it has such a huge effect on you. And if you're on a spiritual journey, the things you got to do, but you're also trying to manage your life so you can be successful, you know. And like if you're on a spiritual journey, you're dealing with like narcissism, you're dealing with like human emotions. You're aware of astrology and all these energies and how corrupt the world is. All that shit is a huge burden. It's a huge burden. So this is why for me, I tend to fall to food or junk food that isn't good for me, but I like to eat it so it makes me feel better in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of other shit that I gotta deal with that seems like a huge burden from my perspective and shit like that. And it gets overwhelming. So I'm trying to find some comfort, you know what I'm saying? Which is, I guess nothing wrong with that, but like I can't do it to the max or I'm gonna develop some type of diseases and shit like that. You know, and not only that, but I haven't worked out in a long ass time. Like I used to run a lot. I used to work out a lot. Me, I'm a runner. I used to run outside a lot. Not only because it's getting cold, but more so like I've just been slacking. But I blame time speeding up. See, time speeding up, it's like I have less time to do shit since time is speeding up. I can literally study at one fucking thing and then the day will be over. I'm the type of person where like I need to get things done. Like I'm the type of person where like my lifestyle is working out and then doing this, doing that, doing this and that, going back and forth, running errands, complaining this, complaining that in one day. It's be like that used to be my life before time wasn't speeding up. But now that time is speeding up, it's like I can't fucking like it's hard for me to complete all those things at once or let alone a week. You know what I'm saying? Because the days go by extremely fast and it makes me more overwhelmed and stressed the fuck out and maybe spaz out. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, why this shit going by so fast? You know? People were sleeping less, we're eating less and shit like that. We got less shit to do. You know, so that in itself also stresses me out as well. But there are pros and cons to time speeding up. Do I hate time speeding up? No. But I don't like it, but also there are pros and cons to it. So at the same time, because I don't like time speeding up, I don't hate it, but I don't like it. But are there benefits to time speeding up? Yes. Like it's me forcing you to become more disciplined. If you work at a job you don't like, then some time speeding up, it will give you the opportunity to tolerate that shit less. And shout out to Chance on it. And even when Chance said that, like how this reality is this shit or like so depressing now, this reality is so lame. Just the fact that time is speeding up we're able to tolerate that shit less, you know what I'm saying? And time is speeding up is gonna force us to be great because it's gonna be force us to be disciplined depending on what we put our fucks onto. But it can be a double-edged sword, you know, if you know, and I think Chance said this too. With time speeding up, all the things that you used to do before time wasn't speeded up, like bullshit, partying, doing some dumb shit that's not serving you. Since time is speeding up, it's gonna force you to eliminate those things. But if you continue to do those things, it's gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Chanton. He made a good point. And I see that play out in my life where like back then before time was speeding up, I used to do things that not necessarily didn't serve me, but more so things I didn't have no business in doing. Like I used to party a lot, I used to do this and that. But since time is speeding up, I can't do any of those things. Like me, I consider myself as an introvert now. I can't even meet new people or go out like that because not only because time is speeding up, but since time is speeding up, I'm forced to focus on things that matter, that's going to help me be successful. Like long-term goals and shit like that. Like going to college, complete my college work, focus on my career and other shit like that. And, you know, and pursuing different trades. So once I get out of the military, I know what to do and shit like that. So just stuff like that, you know. But what also makes it hard is that, like, you can't really do multiple things at once. It's possible. It depends what you're doing. But for me, I'm the type of person where, like, I like to take my time when I'm doing something. So when I'm working out, I like to take my time. When I'm doing homework, I like to take my time. I don't like being in a rush. So since time is speeding up, it's forcing me to not do shit that's taking my time and shit like that, you know? So yeah. I feel like it's so important. It's so important learning about spiritual information. The more you learn about spirituality, that shit could really improve your life. It could go both ways. Depends on how you use it. There's why you gotta be careful when you watch on who you watch. I'm also a victim of when I watch certain channels. I used to think that like they have good intentions and shit like that. Even if they don't have good intentions, they do still be speaking real facts. But you gotta remember, there's still people just like you. They're still human, just like you. Just like how you're going through your problems, these people are also going through the problems. But I'm not talking about that. I'm also talking about like for example, you have certain channels who will like spread a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty, and they'll throw out a lot of fucking theories that they like to claim are facts, but in reality, these people, they've learned this shit from other corrupt YouTubers, and they like to spread a false hope and false information and negativity and fear for their viewers so they could get more viewers, or just because they don't have a power trip that deals with narcissism and shit like that. And that would draw people to kind of play victim to their bullshit pretty much. And I used to be a victim of that shit. Like, for example, you have certain spiritualists or certain YouTubers who would say, like, oh, the world's going to end in 2020. The world's going to fucking end in 2018. Like, Nibiru is going to come in. You have the Anunnaki coming in. You have Sirius Sun is going to come in. They're going to destroy the whole world. Or, like, we're going to have the whole bank collapses and shit like that. So you have certain spiritual channels who talk about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And they used to get me. And looking back, I'm like, damn, man, I wasted so much time on being fearful. And then people were saying we're gonna have a food shortage, so it was important for us to like save up food or to stock up on food and shit like that. I used to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? No, not all of it. But I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, so like all this fear and all this unnecessary drama, you know what I'm saying? And I came to and I realized that like these people are full of shit. They're just saying that shit because, like I said before, they got this shit from other people that are not real, but they're fucking theories. But they like to claim it as real just so they can have a fucking power trip so they can boost their ego, and they want to use their narcissism to control people because they don't feel whole within themselves. So they want to make a fucking YouTube channel so they could gain viewers, subscribers, and have that fucking authority figure, and so they can fucking feel good about themselves and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be careful. A lot of people are like that, not only within YouTube but within real life too. You know, there's why whenever I make content, I'm aware of like the more viewers and subscribers I get, it's always important for me to let them know that like all the things I'm saying is based on my opinion and based on my perspectives, and those aren't facts. And I've learned these from other people, but also learned this from myself, and this is opinion. And not only that, but all the things I'm saying, I'm just projecting how I feel towards a fucking camera. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I named the channel "Speak Your Mind," because I'm just speaking my mind. Don't take my shit personal. I'm just talking my thoughts. You know, but. Yeah, so you gotta watch out for spiritual YouTubers like that. You gotta use discernment. But it's hard to use your discernment because it's so easy to be codependent at an authority figure who spreads information, because we live in such a evil world that doesn't give people the proper guidance, because we're not living life, we're surviving. So when we go to these spiritual channels, we kind of view them as a god, or we look at them as like an authority figure to help guide us. And I feel like people have spiritual information. I feel like they do have a certain like soul mission, and they do play an important role within a lot of people's lives. They just got to use it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Because even though they are corrupt YouTubers, they still do make good content. They still make good information that I'm still subscribed to. But I use my discernment at the same time that I'm still subscribed to. You know, and it's easy to spot them. It's easy now to point them out. It is and it's not. It depends on how much experience you have. You know, if you're new to the game, to the spiritual game, you gotta be careful. You know. So when we come across these YouTubers, they're not speaking facts. They're only speaking theories. Some of them are speaking facts, especially when it comes to health and shit like that. Yeah, but yeah. What was I gonna say? I feel like as a guy or as a male, it's always important to have a female within your life. I'm not saying force a relationship or force your date around. No, but I feel like it doesn't hurt to have a woman by your side that resonates with you and that's on the same frequency and vibration as you. I feel like having a woman by your side as a male could give you a lot of extra motivation and a lot of inspiration and a lot of drive to want more out of life and to succeed and to focus on your mission. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying women they fill a hole or gap, but it definitely kind of heals that feminine wound within males and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because females, they're so feminine and stuff like that. They're run by emotions. So it's always good to have that as a guy, because we're too focused on our goals to work on our shit. Like not only that, but like we just need that feminine, that maternal energy. You know what I'm saying? And once we experience that, it's gonna help us kind of skyrocket or to boost up our energy to want more out of life. You know what I'm saying? That's why everyone deserves to be in a romantic relationship or to have a woman by their side that's on the same path and frequency as them. You know what I'm saying? Everyone deserves to have that. This is where you get your soulmates. I mean, There's different types of soulmates, but this is where you get your like life partners. I mean, even then, it just depends on the frequency, you know? It depends on the relationship. I'm just talking about like a woman who's on the same vibration as you, who's in the same wavelength as you, who's in the same path as you. You know, it's always good to have that because it's gonna give you more a boost of energy and things you want because they have so much feminine energy and, like I said before, maternal energy and all these emotions and all that like soothing, calming, all that love and shit like that is gonna help give you more motivation and energy as a male to get more things done, you know? And vice versa. I think females feel the same about males, where like these females, they need a masculine figure so they could like feel not fulfilled, but so they can help them feel fulfilled, to help them feel whole, you know what I'm saying? And same for males, you know? They need that feminine energy, that women, to help them feel fulfilled and shit like that, you know? And I get it, like, within life, you have to force to do things being single and shit like that, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, like, it's always good to have that woman by your side or someone by your side that understands you because, you know, because as human beings, you know, yes, part of life is going through shit alone, but it's always good to have someone by your side. And I'm not saying it should be like that, but what I'm saying is that, like, it's going to make things a lot easier or, like, at least not even easier, but it's going to make you have more energy, especially someone that loves you and stuff like that. Romantic love, dating love is one of the most amazing things the human experience could experience, you know? But yeah, yeah, but it's crazy how much I think what makes life extremely great is knowing that like you can really create a life for yourself where like you'll feel like you can really like life is limitless. Even though we live in a corrupt world, everything is restricted. Just the fact that you're alive, you can do whatever you want in life, you know? So it's always important to use your God-given gifts to showcase your talents. And one of the most beautiful things about life is that like there's always another day. There's always another opportunity for you to get better, to create more opportunities for yourself. That one makes life beautiful. Life is such a roller coaster, you know, because we're dealing with all these energies, all these astrological influences, you know what I'm saying? So it gets hard, it gets tricky, you know? Supposedly we're living in a timeline where like it's intense with all these astrology energies and stuff like that. So, and time is going to speed up a lot more. So like, I feel like as time is going to speed up, it's going to expose the system and people are going to be more aware of what the fuck is going on because people that, I wonder if people are realizing time is speeding up. They have to realize it because at this point it's like, how can you not tell that time is speeding up? The days are going by a lot faster. That shit's obvious. And as this shit continues, people are eventually gonna realize that shit, and they're gonna think that something's up, and it's gonna make them be less tolerable of the system because the days are going by a lot faster, especially people with families and stuff. You know how stressful that's gonna be, you know. But yeah. Just follow your heart. You know, it feels good to be on the grind. It feels good to have goals, to like wake up every single day and to look forward to knowing what to do in life, you know? Like that helps out a lot. This is why Johnson even said like as long as you're on your path on your mission, that's gonna keep you sane. If you're not, this is why people spaz out and shit like that. So this is why like it's so important to write down goals, write down your short-term goals, write down your long-term goals, write down your mid-term goals. Whenever I write down long-term goals that will lead up to my mid-term goals and short-term goals, all that shit I've noticed that shit will actually come true and I actually get those things. People like to call that manifestation, like law of attraction. I don't know what it is, but like whenever I write down goals and I take action within doing those things, I tend to get those things. You know, you just gotta take action and stuff like that. You know, so always be on your purpose. You know, people may take away, people may break up with you, people may turn on you, people may like accuse you of doing shit, but what people cannot take away from you is your drive, is your work ethic, and is your purpose and your mission. People can't take that shit away from you. People can't take your heart away from you. You know what I'm saying? So never forget that, you know? And that what makes this human experience amazing, knowing that like despite life bullshit, like despite life will throw at you, despite dumbass people will be in your life, no one can take away from your mission, from your spiritual mission, from your goals, your passions, and your heart's desires. You know what I'm saying? So always remember that. But yeah, it gets annoying though. We're like, it's crazy how life is, man. Like within life, right? You have certain people who meet narcissists or come across narcissistic people. Then you have spiritual warfare within life. Like imagine living life, then you experience all types of spiritual warfare. People talk about the afterlife. People seeing spirits and stuff like that. So all that shit is a real thing. People really do experience spiritual warfare. You know, so imagine living in a world where like it's controlled, it's restricted, it's corrupt. But then you're also experiencing spiritual warfare, and then you got time speeding up, and you're dealing with all these astrological influences within this realm. So without a doubt, human experience is kind of challenging, but it is doable. I do feel like we do have spirit guides, and we do have certain entities that kind of guide us. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta use discernment, follow your heart, and life can be frustrating. And I understand why people get mad, people get pissed off, or people have an attitude. I understand that shit. Like, so when people get mad at me, obviously it's still bothersome, but I understand where they're coming from. Because think about it, we live in a world that's fucking not fair. Then you have spiritual warfare that attacks so you have like demonic spirits that attacks people 24/7 all over the world. Then you got money restrictions, and everything costs money. It's expensive, and you're forced to do things you don't want to do because of money. So we're not really living life, but we're surviving. And then we're dealing with all these addictions we got to deal with. And then we have a lot of people who are so narcissistic because of spiritual warfare. So when someone they get mad. I understand where they're coming from. It's so easy for the human body to develop a lot of trauma and to be triggered. So I understand where they're coming from, you know. But this is how life is, you know. So it's always important to do the healing work, to use spiritual information to the best of your ability, like doing the healing work, how to do the healing work, following up on different astrological influences, the meaning of life, following your purpose, knowing more about yourself, following your heart, doing what you love, know what you like, what you don't like within your career, within your people, how to make money, and how to set yourself up for success, and how to love yourself, how to unconditionally love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Learn about fasting, learn about exercising, learn how about this world works, learn how to make money, learn about different skills and opportunities that will help you make money, that will keep you occupied so you can follow your mission and stuff like that, you know? Never stop learning, never stop improving, and yeah, and that's all I got to say. And yeah, I feel better now. I just got to breathe those thoughts. Have a good one and take care and be safe. Peace.